Harris, I know camp, it's still very early, but how are things going for you at left tackle? Just how do you feel personally?
It's been fun. It's been a good learning experience. You know, I'm going against the best edge rushers in the country. You know, like we have a great group of linemen, and so I think I've just been taking it just one day at a time, and I've just been trying to enjoy every day. I feel like this is the first camp I haven't like dreaded it as a young guy, but more so I'm excited for each opportunity I get to improve my craft.
We were talking with Zen earlier. How's he coming along as a redshirt freshman young guy? I know he's the backup left tackle. How's he coming along?
Zen has really made a lot of great strides. Like he's really impressed me this summer. As far as each day, I was like, you know, I tell people all the time, like I started last year, I was still out here every day of the summer. It didn't matter what it was, doing extra reps with our GA or by myself as much as I could. And Zen was always right there. He was asking 1,000 questions, but he was still right there, doing every rep. If it wasn't exactly perfect, he wanted to do it again. And that was just exactly, that's the type of person he is. You know, and like not everybody's gonna be out there to do the extra stuff. You know, it's not very common. But for Zen, like you can tell he really wants it.
With Coach Frye coming in, what are your overall thoughts on him so far? What's maybe a few things he really brings to the table that stand out to you?
I love Coach Frye. I love his energy, and you know, he really connects with everybody in the room, and you know, he's got to know everybody in the room really well so far. So, you know, he knows the interest of every player and just how to really coach them up and get the most out of them, which has been really cool. And I feel like he knows, like when he came in, he had a plan for me and for my development. Has been helping me a lot out so far. So.
Like Luke was saying, like you playing right guard last year, he thinks that helped you. How much did that help you? And he said you're lethal, as you heard, now in space at left tackle. Just your thoughts on those comments, and maybe how much playing right guard has helped you going into this year.
Yeah, I feel like the time I spent this summer just working on the pass, but just working on the extra time to myself, to take it slower, to get, you know, to adjust the space, to get the technique down, the fundamentals down, has definitely helped me out in camp. Has made pass pro feel really, really fun again, like it did in high school, you know. So, and I feel like, you know, that's what everybody just wants to get. And there's some situations depending on the defensive look, and you know the guy's gonna go inside. So there's some situations where I use my right guard technique in pass pro, and it just looks really clean. Like somebody I watch a lot who has the same tendencies I showed in college was like Evan Neal. You know, he has tape where his feet and close space and pass pro look really good because he spent a season at guard, and it really shows. So.
Harris, the one was talking about the patience that's required sometimes in tackle compared to playing inside. I know it's been a while since you've sort of made this switch back. So how do you feel about, I guess, having to kind of switch up your mentality a little bit, playing outside as opposed to playing inside when it comes to how fast things happen?
Yeah, I feel like the one thing like at guard, like even you have to have a calm mindset and pass protection, you know, because like that patience is like, you know, like live or die on that patience, you know what I mean? So I feel like at guard, I had that mindset of aggressive in the run game, but he's right there, so you kind of have to be aggressive in the pass game. That tackle is not the case, so you got to shift your mindset depending on, you know, his alignment, depending on the yardage, down the distance. So that the patience is really crucial, you know, have a calm mindset. You can see everything because, you know, when you're angry, when you're aggressive, you know, your vision is very narrow, you know.
We saw you, you know, you were out here these recruiting camps in the summer, and there was a few times you're down on the far end of the field by yourself. Looks like you're just working through pass, even to the point where you were like breaking the huddle by yourself and then going into your pass. What do you get out of doing stuff like that?
I love doing that. I feel like I saw a quarterback, I think it was Russell Wilson. He does that. So I wanted to start doing that because I feel like, you know, we don't really huddle a whole lot here,
right.
But I feel like I like that the situation of, okay, break, get to the line fast, because, you know, everyone can get in their stance and do the little wiggle and they stand there for 5 seconds so everything feels right. But it's not always gonna be like that, you know, so I like to practice like the type of situations I get lined up go. So I kind of like to put myself in those situations.
You missed the huddle? Did your high school team huddle?
What'd you say?
I said, you missed the huddle? Did your high school team huddle?
We did huddle in high school. I definitely like that we hurry up and we just keep going. Sometimes I feel like when you're tired, the last thing you want to do is just stand still. You kind of want to walk around a little bit. You want to move around, but sometimes we get a huddle and it feels great. So I'm not gonna lie. It's
It's
kind
like
of
when you're jogging, you hit a stoplight and you got to stop. That's kind of the same deal.
Yeah.
What do you notice that's totally that's big time difference with DeJuan Jones compared to a couple years ago?
I would definitely say just his focus and his demeanor. Like you can tell, like this, preparation period for us has been very business for him. Which is a really good step.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's just been really locked in the film. He's taking notes, and you can see how he doesn't accept reps that are half done anymore. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. I feel like I've started to see that, and it's really showing on the field.
Yeah, and he's talking about being lighter too. I mean, relatively speaking, but he is a lighter man and stuff, and how he feels different coming off the ball and things like that. Do you see that in his game?
I do.
How does it show up? I mean, just
velocity. Just velocity off the ball.
Yeah. Harris, how do you see Donovan?
Frye about your mental approach. And he was really giving you a lot of credit for the way that you watch film and the things you do outside of being on the field practicing. What are you most working on in that part of your game? When you're watching film or something with your workouts, what has your attention outside of being on the practice field?
I would say I just try to. One thing I tell myself, I just want to enjoy the day, and I don't want to let anything steal my joy, because I feel like in camp and you look on social media and you look across the country, everybody, they have the wrong mindset coming into it. And then, so I feel like that's the first thing I tell myself. And then the second thing I tell myself is that I want to be deliberate with everything I do. I want to be very intentional, so whether it's in the workouts, whether I watch film, because, a lot of people watch film, but a lot of people aren't watching with purpose, with intent. And I think it's a step that I need to take to mature myself mentally as far as my off the field preparation. You know what I mean? Like just having that intent. I feel like it translates.
What have you learned about watching film? Like how are you watching it differently now than last year?
I feel like instead of just turning on the tape and just seeing a whole defense, I might turn on the tape one day and I might be just looking, okay, what does this guy do when this is there, in this package, when the linebackers out here and the linebackers out there, not just watching a guy and trying to analyze his moves, because the moves he used against a guy at school B might not be the moves that he's going to pull out, that Saturday. But looking at what are his tendencies in this linebackers here, when he's, in this stance, there's those things, you know what I mean? So I feel like just breaking it down. So eventually, as we get closer to that game day, now I'm looking for those little things. So what are his moves? What are his, trying to break it down instead of trying to get it all in one session. You know what I mean?
How much are you seeing that same intentionality out of Donovan, and in what ways?
Oh, Donovan's had that since he enrolled in school, and which has been really impressive. He asks a lot of questions, really good questions, for older guys doing something, he's right there. He's trying to figure it out. So I would say he's definitely had that.
What's the most impressive moment from him so far?
I just think his ability as a young guy just to jump in, you just forget that. He just got here last year. I see Donnie, look at Donnie and I'm like, oh dang, you just got here. I know it's your second year, but you just got here. He's really talented. So.
How are you different physically from when you first got here and even last year? Are you about the same size but just stronger, or have you gained weight as well? Just how would you describe it?
I would say that probably right now, I probably weigh about maybe a little bit more than I did on an average Saturday for game days, which is good, but I feel like I had the time off season to get it up there, because I went from my first season maybe 306, 307, and played last year maybe around, I guess I was heavier last year, so I feel like I'm a little lighter, but I'm definitely a lot stronger, so I feel heavier, like when I do my pass protection and everything. So
you about 315, I think that's what you're listed at. You about 315 pounds, or okay.
Yeah.
Was there a time last year when you were sitting there at guard going, man, It just ain't my thing.
Nah, I feel like in the moment,
You know what I mean?
you
They
don't,
get
you don't have that mindset. Like
Yeah.
I feel like the second I got moved to guard, I knew I would have an absolutely terrible season if I put my hand down at guard and think I should be at tackle right now. So once I got put at guard, I watch film like a guard. I watch what the tackles are doing. I'm watching what guards are doing. You know, I'm like, when my time comes, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna learn all the tackle technique right now. What are the guards doing? You know? Like,
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to have that mindset. You have to take on. If you'd put me at center, I might have took 10 minutes to be like, wow. But then after that, you have to have the mindset. I am a center. Because you're playing full speed, that D tackle doesn't care that you want to be a tackle.
If you had to explain to someone Justin Frye's coaching style, what would you say?
I would say versatile. Like he can, one moment when I feel like he can really like read you. Like he knows when, like you need somebody up in your face, but he knows when to pull you back, pull you to the side, talk to you to be able to get the like most out of you for that next play, that next series.
Paris, you mentioned that emphasis on enjoying every day. Have you always had that mindset, or is that something you kind of learned?
I feel like I've had that mindset, but definitely not for camp. You know, so I feel like the freshman I'm thinking about. I just want to survive camp. COVID is going to be different, so nobody can tell me how it's going to be. The camp's canceled. The camp's back on. The camp's canceled. There's no season. And last year's my first camp. Now I'm starting. I'm trying to figure out this guard stuff, but then it's also a real camp. Now I feel like I have the opportunity to be intentional. I know my spot. I spent the summer doing all the basics of the fundamentals over and over and over and over again, even on the camp days. So now I'm just have the mindset of just enjoying my day and have that mindset, even through the warm-ups and stuff, not being like, I'm gonna just enjoy this day. I have nothing else. I'm in school, and then just thinking about how can I get better than I was yesterday.
So this is the first time you really feel comfortable.
Yeah, like I feel excited for camp days. I wake up and I'm okay. Like I feel excited. I might be a little tired in the morning, but I'm still excited.
Even if last year you were playing an uncomfortable role for yourself, was that better than just being a left tackle last year, even if you were in a backup role, just because at least you were out there?
Yeah, if they could have put me at free safety and I would have started to backpedal and try to cover somebody. Like I just wanted to be on the field, for the Buckeyes, to be able to play. Like they said they wanted the best five up there, and I was honored to be, seen in that light to be able to play. Last year they could have put me at center, snap. Might have not been there, but I would have been grabbing somebody. So,
Thank you, Paris.